we stand up? Hey guys, how's everyone doing? My name is Dulce. I'm 18 years old and I'm an undocumented student. I've been living in Georgia from the age of 2, and I've always known I was undocumented, but I didn't really know what that meant until I started getting older. I always thought the world was perfect. I thought everything was pretty and pink. I thought the government did their job to keep everyone safe and to protect their rights. But as I started getting older, I started realizing that that wasn't all true. I started seeing my family members get deported. I started seeing my neighbors get deported. I started seeing my friends get deported. And I knew something wasn't right. And I knew something didn't click. And I knew something had to be done. And I just didn't know what. I didn't know how to take it. I was very frustrated. I was very depressed. I just couldn't realize, I didn't realize why this was happening. And I realized that they weren't getting deported because of something they had done, but they were getting deported simply because of who they were. And that bothered me. And that bothered me a lot. And I didn't know how to handle it. So what I did was I stepped back. I didn't speak about my immigration status. I didn't say anything about it. And I kept as quiet as I possibly could to anyone. I didn't say anything. And I stepped back and I waited. And I waited and I waited. And I've been waiting 16 years. And I've been living in fear for 16 years, not knowing what's going to happen to my family. And I'm tired of it. And I'm tired of it. I waited for Superman to come in and save the day. I waited and I stepped back for someone to wake up and come and tell me that I'm living in a nightmare. Tell me that this is not my reality. And no one has stepped in for 16 years. And I'm tired of it. I'm tired. I honestly am. And I realized that I can't step back and wait for someone to speak for me. I can't step back and wait for someone to tell my story better than I can. No one knows your struggles better than you do. And no one is going to come out here and speak for you if you do it. No one. I've been living in fear 16 years, and today I'm here to tell you that I'm done. I'm done of being afraid. I'm done of not knowing what's going to happen. I am done. Today I'm here to tell the world that I am undocumented, that I am here, and I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid. I'm here for a lot of my friends that are undocumented, that are afraid, and they still live in the shadows. I'm here to let you know that you need to step out and you need to step up. That's it. You need to step out, you need to step up. You're either with us or you're against us. There's no more staying neutral. You cannot stay neutral. You're either with us or against us, and that's it.
Hello, my name is Jose Rico. I'm undocumented and I'm unafraid. I live in Raleigh, North Carolina. Well, my story begins back in Mexico. I was 13 years old when my family and I moved to Raleigh, North Carolina in 2003. I was 13 years old and my family moved here because back in the mid-90s, there was this foreign policy named NAFTA, signed by the United States and countries like Mexico, so they can have a free trade agreement. That caused many companies to move to the north part of Mexico. That in itself made my family to move to the north and to work there. Until recently, in the beginning of the 2000s, those companies began to move again for even cheaper labor. And my family had no other choice but to look for a job, to look for a better life. So they decided to move here. We moved here with a visa, but because of the complexity of the immigration system, I find myself that I'm undocumented. And even though I didn't know what that meant, because I continued with school, I was in the 8th grade. I continued with academics, with schoolwork, with my community. And it wasn't until I was a high school senior that it was a time that I had to apply for school, for college. And I found out that I have to fill out that FAFSA form. And then he asked me for a social security number. You know, I didn't know what that was. I went to my mother and I asked, what is that number? I don't know what that is. Can you give it to me? I need to apply for college. She told me that we didn't have it. That we didn't have it because we were undocumented. And even though I kind of knew that I was undocumented, I didn't know until that moment that being an undocumented person, it meant that you didn't have the same opportunities that any other human being had. For a piece of paper, I wasn't able to go to a university. So I went to my advisor and I asked, you know, is a student like me with a 3.8 GPA, you know, being able to go to college? And she told me that there were many opportunities for me because I was Latino, because I was a minority. I am a minority. And then I asked her, is a student like me, is a non-documented student, you know, able to go to college? And she said that there were many challenges for a student like that. But she also asked me, Jose, you're not in that situation, are you? At that moment, I had a choice to make. Am I going to remain in the shadows, or am I going to come out? And I decided to say, yes, ma'am. Yes, that is my situation. I am undocumented. At that moment, she wasn't prepared to give me feedback. She wasn't ready to answer to that. I decided to apply to college anyways. I applied to 7 universities, and I was accepted to 6 of them. I decided to go to a community college, paying out of state tuition, out of my own money, out of my own work, because that tuition was way too high, because I didn't have that financial aid, because I couldn't apply to every single scholarship that my peers had. I began to work with a community. I began to realize that there were a lot of students just like me. Only in the state of North Carolina, there are 51,000 undocumented students living in the shadows, in my situation, who might not have the strength and the courage to be able to come out to their advisors, to their teachers, that they were undocumented, that they wanted to go to school, that they wanted to do better, that they wanted to contribute back to this community, to the United States, that the only place they know has home. That's why I'm coming out. I'm coming out because there are a lot of people. Just in North Carolina, there is 51,000 students. Around the country, there is more than 2 million. And every year, there is 65,000 undocumented students graduating. And it's the same thing all over again. The same thing. I'm just one undocumented student. And there are many. And we are tired. We have lobbied. We have met with our senators. Back in December 18, both of our senators, Senator Kay Hagan, Democrat, and Senator Richard Burr, a Republican, both of them voted no against one bill that will have allowed me to continue with my education, to continue to work. I would like to become an engineer. And if the Dream Act would have passed, I would have been able to reach that goal. But the Dream Act will not have solved everything. There are many more. There are families. And that is why I am here, coming out to you guys, here in Atlanta. Because here in the South, like North Carolina, we have legislations that want to ban me and the 51,000 undocumented students from going to college. In South Carolina, it's the same thing. There is a ban. Here in Georgia, as Georgina said, five of the top universities, you cannot apply in the beginning of this fall. That's why I'm coming out. I'm coming out undocumented, I'm coming out unafraid, I'm coming out unashamed, and I'm coming out unapologetic.